Tell me when will this fighting end? Pain, it hurts. It just cuts me like a knife inside. Will you wrong? Or will you just leave and hide? You always said that I've let you down so many times, but now you see that all I ever did was try to get your attention for just one little loving word, but now I'm gone and our bridge is about to burn. Just stepped into the ring again, toe to toe. Tell me when will this fighting end? Pain, it hurts. It just cuts me like a knife inside. Will you run? Or will you just leave it?
It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Amp Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
Welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe, and we're ending the week after a very long week. Very long. Very long. Did I tell you very long? I gotta tell you, it's a long week when you go to work on a Thursday and you see Paul, and you wake up on a Friday.
And you see Paul?
And you see Paul. Still here. I mean, were you like in the closet? Where were you?
It's that room you don't know about.
He lives upstairs with the angels.
And then yesterday, Freddie said, 100 sentences. I
Oh.
said food, I said
Yeah.
this, I said, Freddie said.
Yes.
There must be like a biological twin brother somewhere where I said all these things.
Here's the great thing about what we do. It's all recorded.
Really?
Yes.
You have me recording that I said this?
So we just need to go look on the shows Haley knows, saying all the
Haley
things that
don't
Freddie
know. Why
says.
does Haley know?
Because she runs board all the time.
Haley, they say I promised food, drink, dancing girls, the whole nine
No,
yesterday.
you promised dinner,
When did I promise dinner?
and then you said, yes. You promised
When did
dinner.
I promise dinner?
Apparently yesterday, and then you walked out the door.
Time out. This is a conspiracy theory. You're talking about when I went to the radio station?
No, you promised dinner earlier in the week. You told Cece when they were here. But then Cece promised cookies, and neither one of you held up on your deal.
No, that's not what I
So,
said.
do you know that I didn't even have a cookie yesterday because I was waiting for those cookies last night?
That's not what I said.
What'd you say?
I said dinner and a show. So he misunderstood that to believe that we
You
were
were bringing
having dinner. Yes. Now,
Right.
I didn't know when I walked in here, you had a dual show with people before, during, and after. It was like 25 people in here.
You knew. You just chose to ignore it.
And then I got to hear Dawn because they had to move chairs and stuff around, which is cool. It's a simple thing.
It's simple when you're not here. When you're here and it's 100 degrees in here, and and I said, next time you stay for setup. And he says to me on text, what setup? So I sent you a video. There were people, I had no more room for chairs, lined up all the way to here.
That's because you had to double up chairs.
But if you double up chairs, people can't see. We're not like at Arts Garage where we've got elevation. They don't have elevation
All
either.
right, I'm going to show you how the chairs have to be situated. Because I was thinking about this.
Yeah?
So Paul and Chuck got to sit over here.
Yes.
But those chairs are along the wall.
Yes.
You have to double up the chairs this way. The bathroom break is through Studio A. But you go 2, 4, 6, 8 chairs fit right here.
If you were here, you could have helped out and set it up.
Thank you very much.
You know,
Ding,
it's
ding,
funny.
ding, ding, ding,
I
ding.
was waiting for her to say that. But thank you for playing.
Thank you for playing.
Anytime.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's all good.
So if you just follow the bouncing ball, it's really simple.
There you have it.
She was a little bit, and it continued this morning. She was yelling at me.
I wasn't really yelling.
Oh, that was yelling.
It was just
Oh,
expressing
no, that was
my
yelling.
situation.
But you know, it's good because my Braxton's back, not your
Yes.
Braxton. My Braxton's back,
Yes.
and I'm getting some reinforcements, and I'll be able to manipulate this place a little bit better.
So,
I didn't think in a million years that many people were going to show up.
because Freddie said when we have
we go
new
again.
shows, he tells all of our new hosts, bring people, invite people. That's what the theater was made for, which in fact it was.
Wow, I won't say it anymore.
But when we have 3 minutes between shows and everyone comes early for sound checks, as you know what that takes, everyone walked in. We opened the doors at 6:30, and in walked a line of people.
That was for the other show at
No,
7.
they all walked in at the same time because they had to do sound checks at 6:30. So everyone walked in at once because what did we do?
There was a good crowd here last night.
It was a big crowd here last night, but it was a good event.
Where's Josh? I'm going to get to the bottom of this before we get to it.
Haley
Josh,
was
come here,
here.
Josh.
Ask Haley.
Josh? No, I'm not going to ask Haley because she's going to side with you.
You promised her
She's
dinner.
already nodding
Freddie's buying
yes. She
lunch.
doesn't even know what the question's going to
We're
be.
buying lunch today. It's National Chicken Wing Day, by the way.
Well, that's good. Josh knows that if we're going to put things out for sound check, Josh, sound check yesterday. You had 2 people. You tell them to talk into the mic and it gets done, correct?
Except when it's music and they all wanted to sing a song.
Well,
Oh.
but
Yeah.
what you guys did yesterday is you switched. You put JC first.
No, we did not. They put JC
Did
first.
Josh decide to put JC first?
No.
Who decided to put JC first?
I think it was just a group decision.
What group? Which group was this?
JC and
I walk
Cece.
in. I know it's her. I know.
It wasn't me.
He just pointed
was-
at you.
It was
Thank you.
Cece.
I'm gonna tell you what's going on, Paul.
It
I'ma
was
tell
Oh
you
no,
what's
okay,
going
no,
on.
no, it was CC because
was
CC,
No.
CC said it was like on the billboard or whatever was being sent out. It was like he was the main event, so
Yeah,
he
I know
wanted to
that,
be
but
a.
He went over to Dawn and he
Yeah.
said this to her, and so Dawn says, "Okay, select JC first." So I walk into this thing, and I'm saying, "Why is?" I didn't know your setup.
I
is
didn't
what
have
happened.
a setup because I did not know
Yes, you
your
did.
setup.
So when I came in here, I said, "You sit there, you do this, you do this," and I can hear JC says, "Oh," Now he shows up and he's in charge. And I told him, sit down.
Yep.
Sit down. Because you can't have 400 people around you and trying to get things done. Now, Josh is in control of the music. Josh tells who sings when. That's it. There ain't nothing more to do. And if Haley's
Look at
on
his
the
face.
on the bar, I didn't show you. Listen, I watched Woodstock yesterday on PBS. Do you know how many people were at Woodstock? I'll give you a bag of coffee if you know how many people were at Woodstock. Were you there?
Does anybody know how many really people were there?
Yes, I know.
400,000.
Very close. Very close. 489,360 people.
I want to know 9 months later how much our population increased. Has
400
anyone done that?
But people
statistic?
jumped the fence. How do they know how many people,
489,000
you know?
babies were made.
Or think about this, probably half of that, right? The statistics of how many children were born 9 months later.
But let me tell you something
the mud.
about Woodstock.
Conceived in the mud.
Woodstock ran out of food the first of the 4 days. There was no food. And they couldn't get the food in because of the line of cars and trucks that blocked all the entries into this place, right? So the town people had helicopters bring in food. The town people, they dropped in, I mean, it wasn't, it was like Quaker Oats and things like that. I mean, it wasn't any, no TV dinner, no nothing like that. But those people, those 400 and plus thousand people, they shared a meal with one another. You couldn't do that today with 4 people.
No, they tried to do it again in 1999.
It didn't work.
It was terrible.
It
Is that
didn't
what you
work.
tried to do here last night?
No.
Oh,
But I'm
okay.
just letting you know,
Just wondering if that was the segue.
if they could do 489,000 people, you can handle 20 people.
Was
but
Freddie there?
Who?
Freddie?
Harry went.
Oh,
My
Harry
brother Harry
was.
went.
So
he
he-
came back, he smelled. Oof. When he came back that Tuesday, and then we're wondering how you got home. He never told us. But I know it was Dawn. I know it was Dawn. What?
Check
Oh,
the screen.
I can't read
Good
that.
morning,
It's too
happy
small.
Friday. Love the set. The art looks beautiful. Good morning, Charlotte. Good afternoon, Charlotte.
How are you, Charlotte? But I
She
know.
was not here yesterday.
No, Charlotte didn't show up. This is what I'm talking about. She's going to say, I didn't even know, but it was posted everywhere. I know it was Dawn. When you pointed right now at her, I know it was Dawn. Because there were other new elements that happened last night.
Were there?
Danielle.
Oh, yes.
I didn't know that Danielle was going to open the show. I
Oh,
thought she
but
was gonna be-
that went. Freddie said, Danielle, I'll see you Thursday. You're hosting the show.
Yes, but we did not.
But wait, you weren't here.
We did not prepare Danielle. It wasn't fair.
You were not here. Can you do the head thing that Bree and Katie do?
You see,
I cannot do it. Katie,
Don't-
Katie, can you do the head thing for me?
that's right. You see, you took the
She's
initiative.
doing it.
No, if
Yes,
Danielle,
Haley did it.
I didn't know, Danielle didn't know she was going to come because of her son's situation. Then she said, can I bring her? Everything changed. But if Danielle was here the night she was watching Rosie,
Yes.
if she was coming, we should have prepared her.
Yes, we should have. But wait, what were you doing that day?
I was sitting over there watching.
It's all good.
Now, Josh is in charge of sound. Haley's in charge of everything else. And the board gets done. You had Alana, you had the all-star team here last night. What are you talking
I
about?
did have the All-Star team here last night.
And you had Paul.
I know.
Every all-star team needs a bad boy.
So Frank says to me, Frank
Troublemaker.
Barbado
Always
posted-
needs a troublemaker.
You are such a troublemaker. You got me so wound up last night, I walked out the door.
You walked out the door. Paul says, I'm going to go talk to Freddie.
No, and then he follows
I
me.
know.
To
Just
wind
to
me
stir
up.
the pot. I had to stir the pot.
I thought you were going to calm him down. Then
No.
he comes back in
No
and Paul
way.
says, he went that way. And next thing I know, Sarah, the bar goes from here in the other room, and you're making drinks in the middle of the whole thing. So Frank Barbado says he finished his drink, whatever time that was. He says, well, Rhonda wanted to know why there was so much cranberry juice in my drink. He says, but I did not taste any cranberry juice in my drink. He said, I don't know where it all went. Because Freddie makes a good drink.
First of all, I didn't have any cranberry left. I put a drop. You saw me.
It was
I
a
put a
great drink.
drop.
That's all I know.
Why don't next time I'll just give her the bottle with a straw? I mean, jeez Louise. What, are you kidding me?
She couldn't believe he was drinking all that cranberry juice. He says, no, not much. He said, I don't taste any cranberry juice.
He said that to her.
I know he told me. He's like, I think it was all, yeah. He
He
said,
gave her
but
the
man,
wrong drink.
he says, but wow, you guys have some good vodka at the Brooklyn Cafe.
That's Lost Harbor. And I just got a phone call. You've missed the whole morning.
You know why? We got a new show starting next
That's what I
Monday.
want you to announce.
We got a new show starting next Monday, part of our Spirit Life TV channel. It's called Call Me Zena. And this is the life of Sally Bernard and how she went through her spiritual awakening and how she channels spirit and answers questions of the greater universe of why we are all here collectively.
Now, this is a little bit different than anything we've done in the past because she's going to actually be able to channel and answer questions to the studio audience, phone or in person. And we're not going to kick it off that way at the beginning. We have some things we have to do to capture shots and things of that nature. But I'm intrigued because they gave us a demonstration this morning, and it was pretty cool. And don't call in here with lotto numbers and things. That's not the way it works.
So the show is starting on Monday, August 8th. We've got the Political Power Hour, new show starting Monday, August 1st at 7 o'clock on Oldies. And so a lot of new things. Editor's Desk starts on Thursday at 5:30. So a lot of new shows popping up.
And you're missing the best announcement. Thursday, 7 o'clock, Frank is going to open up another set of the music bash at the cafe. And we're going to do it every other week. Not every week, because there's a show that goes on in here that has big audience and it becomes a little bit chaotic.
And another announcement, Luhu will be airing on Comcast starting next week.
That's right. We have a meeting with Comcast on Monday. So you had to see more Paul.
Yeah, I'm not in that yet. We're waiting a month before I make the commercial, but yes.
Yeah, we're waiting on Zach sort of putting it all together, right?
Zach is a very busy man right now.
I see that. Is that Zach's wearing your commercial? No.
So are we
Next month,
doing it
no.
in August or are we doing it in a month
August.
from August?
What?
August?
Zach's
Starting-
making a new commercial for maybe September or October.
Is that what we're doing?
We're keeping the commercial that we're running right now.
Okay.
For
And then he'll
When you
August
have-
and
the new one?
September, I think. So for
You have that one
October
too.
1st,
He'll do
then I'll
the
be
new
in the
one.
commercial.
Oh, yeah. Look at Haley. It's like, Haley's not going back to school.
You know, not for nothing. She's only here for 2 more weeks.
I know.
You got a lot
know,
on your plate.
How
for
did
2
that
weeks.
happen? Literally, I remember sitting with you in the other room in May and having this conversation, and we thought, yeah, we're good. We're here through August. The next thing we know, August is
August.
Monday. I mean, you've been with us since May already. Isn't that crazy? Wow.
Makes me older.
We're all older. Yeah, you guys are all comparing birthdays last night.
You guys, you see what I'm talking about?
Not Paul.
I wasn't even part of that
You,
conversation.
Chuck, and Frank were all like, oh, we're in this
I
number
happen to
club.
be Chuck. We're all born in 1962. I tell him, Chuck, why don't you just stand in the rafters and tell the people that I'm 60? Go ahead. I love that you. Oh, but Freddie, and he's tall. I'm looking up at him. I said, why don't you just tell the world this?
And then I saw him like courting you in the parking lot last night. I'm thinking,
Oh my
what?
God! You know what he told me? We were all born in 1962.
I'm in my car and I've got such a headache, ready to go. And I see you talking to Chuck, and I'm thinking, how can you guys still be talking to each other
It
after?
was Chuck.
Oh, I know.
1962. No, the funniest thing is that Frank and Rhonda were leaving in his convertible. So he puts the roof down and he's doing the wiggle in the car. And I'm looking at him. I said, you don't need to use the bathroom? What's the matter? I mean, he was wiggling when he was dancing. Never seen a dance like that in a car.
I don't know. I also know that he did not really have a parking space.
I noticed he just parked in the middle of the street.
It's in the middle of the parking lot. And I thought, I guess it's what's
Oh, when I got here, there was not one spot.
And what did you think? Oh, where are all these people right now? You must have thought the
No,
dance
no.
studio was open.
No, I didn't want to come in. But when I came in, I got slapped in the face with a brick. And then Mr. Bricklayer over there came out, slaps me in the face with another brick.
And there you have
I
it.
said, where's the alcohol?
Welcome to Friday morning, afternoon.
But it was a great time. Join us on Thursday, 7 o'clock. There's going to be music. We're going to change up some things. I'm going to add some things. A word from my
And better
spot-
seating too.
Better seating. No, what I'm going to do is between the singers, we're going to do a set. We're going to do something. We're going to take it from there, bring it up here, give them a chance to reset the singer. Maybe Paul will be up here and he say, Lou, who this? And then we go back to the singers. I'm going to make it an entertainment show. Make it a little
We
bit.
need a
maybe
stage
an
that's-
artist.
yeah.
An artist comes up here with these massive pieces.
An installation?
And you could walk through. Wouldn't that be the Twilight Zone? Walk through my art.
It is National Chicken Wing Day. We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we've got artist Sarah Wong with us. We've got Luhu advisor Paul Solomon joining us, and see what else our crew's got cooking on this Friday, last Friday of July. Wow, it's going to start cooling off. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Planning for the future should not be painful and needs to be discussed. From health, family, finances, allow qualified professionals to aid in your planning. Luhu Advisors have been serving South Florida for over 30 years. A licensed real estate broker, insurance agent, assisted living administrator, and certified senior advisor, Paul Solomon is the most qualified and well-rounded advisor for any task. Specializing in real estate, long-term care, life insurance and annuities, Social Security, government benefits, and senior housing, Luhu Advisors. Let us help you. Known for his Art Deco Cubist style and compositions with dancing saturated color, Ken Bieberman has lived and breathed art his whole life. From the early 80s, he's influenced the Art Deco district of Miami Beach. Featured in numerous restoration projects, hotels, galleries, and clubs, Bieberman creates for everyday folks and celebrity clientele. He's also the proprietor of Art Repro, a giclée and scanning company in Pompano Beach. When it comes to scanning high resolution, size is not an issue. Professionally scanning art up to 10 feet and 64 inches in width, Art Repro utilizes state-of-the-art equipment. On quality canvas or paper, archival ink and printing mediums are put to use. Art Repro ensures colors are true and every nuance of the art is captured, including the canvas weave. Perfection is the priority. Contact artist Ken Bieberman today at 954-547-0095 or visit his website www.artrepro.net.
Hi, I'm Dawn Clifford, owner and founder of Clifford Insurance Advisors. Established in November of 1999, we focus on mainly health, life, disability, Medicare, and long-term care insurance. Specifically for people aging into Medicare or the self-employed or even employee benefits for small business owners. We can be reached by phone number at 561-880-0391 or by email info@cliffordinsuranceadvisors.com. Visit our website at www.cliffordinsuranceadvisors.com and even visit Facebook, Clifford Insurance Advisors.
Being a successful woman in business means having the courage to own who you are. We understand the challenges faced by women, and we are here to help. Our team is here to develop the best strategy designed just for you. Your path is unique, and with the right tools, you can accomplish your dream. From radio to TV, from podcasting to magazines, we create the visibility to amplify your impact in business. At New Dawn Media, we are here to help bring your message forward and help your business flourish. It is time for your message to be seen and your voice to be heard. Contact us at 866-224-5422 or brooklyncafe.tv. Your voice can make a difference.
Welcome to Movies of Del Rey, a family-run movie theater that has been serving the Del Rey and Boca community for over 30 years. Open Wednesday through Sunday, Movies of Del Rey offers great admission prices, low concession prices, and quality customer service. Movies of Del Rey provides the quality of the big box theaters without the price tag. Movies of Del Rey provides new Hollywood content as well as new indie and independent movies. It truly is a hidden gem. Whether you're hosting a private event, party, or fundraiser, or are looking for your next date night activity, Movies of Delray is the perfect choice. Come on down to Movies of Delray, located at 7421 West Atlantic Ave in Delray Beach, or visit us online at moviesofdelray.com.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Cece says, how you doing?
How
Had a
you
good time
doing?
last night?
Good. Very nice. All right, ready
All
to
right.
get into the show?
Yes, let's do this because I'm really intrigued.
We've got artist Sarah Wong with us, and Baxton, your Braxton, my Baxton, was going through sending emails out to people in Boca Magazine. So you must be in Boca Magazine.
Was I?
You must have been in Boca Magazine. So he got your email somehow and sent you an email, and he was very excited to book this for you.
That's awesome. I'll have to check that out. I can't quite remember if I saw it or not, but that's great. It's great to hear.
So he went through a bunch of magazines and he reached out, so I'm glad you're here. It's funny that we happen to know you.
Yeah, I've been on. Years ago I went on the show when I was still working at Arts Garage, so it's cool to be like kind of back with you guys.
Were you an artist then and we just didn't know?
Oh, I was still an artist. Yeah.
She's on mic 5. Thank you.
Am I good? Yeah, I was still an artist then. Now I'm doing it a little bit more full time. I have a studio in Delray Beach at Arts Warehouse. I'm a resident artist there, so it's really nice to be making and creating. So yeah, it's great.
Didn't we almost move into arts?
Yeah, well, we didn't. We went and looked there.
Yeah.
They were small.
Yeah. Well,
They're-
too small for
We're
us.
too
but
small for us.
that's a
They're great for
beautiful
studio
place.
space, but
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. Like I feel like everything lined up. I was looking for a space. They were doing a call for artists. I applied, and it all happened so fast. Like I've been there almost a year now.
That's
So
amazing.
It's incredible. It's an awesome opportunity.
walk us through some of your art. What's your motive? What's your inspiration? What type of media do you use?
So I feel like I'm inspired by so many things, and I try not to stay in one box, so to speak. I'm multidisciplinary. I really like primarily work in painting and drawing, abstract works, but I also really have been enjoying the installation format where I'm working a little more sculpturally with my drawings, trying to make them a little bit more experiential, more tactile, like kinetic. So that's been really interesting to me, especially since I've gotten my own studio. It's been really nice to kind of play with different formats, you know. But I'm really inspired, I guess, by just introspection. I'm really inspired by memories and experiences, my identity. So I've been really exploring that in the last several months.
Haley, you got all that? She's shaking her head. All right, tell us about the piece to your left.
Sure. So to my left, this was a piece I actually did during the pandemic. It's called In Pieces. It's a collage, so it's mixed media. I did it with all kinds of things that I had in my space at the time. I was still working out of my living room. So during the pandemic, you know, there wasn't too many places I could go to get new material. So I figured, you know, hey, why not just use this as an opportunity to create this visceral self-portrait of myself and like how I felt at the height of the pandemic. There was social unrest, like it left me feeling extremely fragmented. So this is really the representation of that. Again, it's a self-portrait, but it really has become one of my favorite pieces because it was one of those it just was born out of me. Like it just happened. So that was really fun, and it was actually featured in Art and Culture magazine that the Cultural Council puts out. It was featured last fall, and they did a little piece on me and this piece as well. So that's a little bit about that one.
Tell her to isolate it.
You want to just pull up the ISO on that
Yeah, because I
one?
want to see the details on it.
Oh yeah, and I can like adjust it if that
No,
helps.
you're right there. She can.
You have
isolate it.
different textures on there?
Yeah, different textures,
pieces?
like different materials. Like I use, so the base is Yupo paper, which is like a synthetic substrate, And I've also incorporated Mylar. It's a type of drafting film, but it really creates this like frosted, floating experience. But yeah, it's all kinds of things. I was using powdered graphite and then kind of squirting alcohol, and I was just using whatever I could get my hands on in my home studio at the time, and just kind of going with it, you know. And it was. I keep it up in my studio because I'm constantly inspired by it. Like I enjoy collage. I think it came out of me in such a way where it helped me problem solve this portrait of me.
How long did it take you to do?
I would honestly say, because it just happened, I would say a few hours. I think I worked on it like 3 to 5 hours maybe, and I just was like, I got to do it, you know. It just happened. So.
And I gotta ask, because you left Arts Garage to pursue your artist career, so you have like this energy that wants to come out and hit the canvas, correct?
Yeah, oh yeah, all the time. I mean, it comes out in many forms, whether it's on the canvas, like I really enjoy working on panel. I love working on paper as well. So like when I did leave, I think it was last July, wow, and I got my own studio, I was thinking a lot about the things that I was trying to re-explore about myself. I wasn't painting as much. I wasn't sure if painting was really like the direction I wanted to take my current, you know, exploration in. So I started working on these big drawings, and that's kind of what on the screen here, that my installation piece. So all this exploration culminated in this piece that I call Aging and Maturing, and it was an exploration of me, like. Growing up as a young artist, drawing was always very comforting to me. I loved using pencil and paper, and like I would draw cartoons, I would draw animals, people, anything I could get my hand on. So I knew graphite was the most grounding thing that I needed for myself. And then I was thinking about what that would go on, and I'm like, you know, I don't think it would go on canvas. I don't think it would be panel. I think it would just be paper. So I used vellum as the base for this installation piece, and historically vellum is some sort of like animal membrane, like it's normally associated with sheepskin. So I really wanted to kind of capture that callback there, and essentially I was thinking a lot about my identity, which is something I don't think I had consciously explored before. My father's from Taiwan, so I'm half Taiwanese, my mom's American. And I was thinking of the things that connect me to that culture. And some of my earliest memories was going out to dim sum with my family. And then, you know, you would see the like Peking duck, like in the window, hanging with the warmer. And for me, that was just such a formative memory. And still now I enjoy going out and doing those things with my family. So food has always been my connection to my Taiwanese heritage, you know, as a biracial person. And I really wanted to just express that in a way that people could touch and it like live in and just be totally surrounded and engulfed in. So that's where this installation piece had really taken root. And I worked on it it was the very first project I started when I moved into Arts Warehouse. Again, just kind of refreshing everything about my practice and exploring some of the things that I didn't think that I had been able to explore for a while. So it was nice to get back to me.
Has your focus changed from a year ago to today? Has the artwork changed?
Oh yeah, I would say it's definitely shifted. Like for me, I'm still really focusing in and looking at identity and exploring those things for me. So I think that's still something I'm very much interested in. So yeah, I would say it's shifted a little bit, but I would say it's an ongoing process for me. I'm still very much exploring it though. That's a good question.
Did you go to school for art, or this is all self-taught?
I did. So I went to FA. So growing up, my mom, she's an artist, and she taught me a lot of what I know. And I didn't think I wanted to be an artist growing up. And it's kind of weird to say that because it's always been in me. But I went to FAU, Florida Atlantic University. And originally, I was a film, video, and new media major. And I remember I was like in my sophomore year, I needed to take an elective, and one of the electives was figure drawing. And I was like, oh, I could do that. That sounds great. I'll do it. it was probably like 2 or 3 classes in, and I was like, I got to switch my major. Like, I don't know, it like sparked something in me that I didn't know that was really there for my art. And from there, it just continued. I graduated with my Bachelor of Fine Arts in painting a couple years later. So it's been great. So I've been working and exhibiting my art for over 10 years now, and it's been fantastic.
Congratulations. And the piece, Haley, let's move the camera to the other side.
This one.
So and you also were just chosen, as we move the camera, Del Rey Affair. They picked your artwork for the poster.
Oh yeah, they did. Let me pull that up.
So we have a signed piece of artwork that she's going to leave with
Yeah,
us.
so in the frenzy that was my life for the last year or so, there was an open call to artists. I was actually recommended to apply by the folks at, or Marjorie at Arts Garage. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll think about it. And I did. And I was thinking a lot about the things that make Del Rey home for me. Like Pineapple Grove has become this hub for everything that I do. I live and work in Del Rey. And I really wanted to represent something that was this fusion of business and the arts in the city, because that is just evident everywhere you go. And so what's more iconic than the Dancing Pineapples mural? I know it's not there anymore, but Anita Lovett's Dancing Pineapples mural has been a staple photo opportunity, backdrop for so many memories, and I just wanted to capture that from a little bit of a different perspective. People kind of leaving Pineapple Grove, so you see the reverse side of the archway that leads into Pineapple Grove, and it's kind of this like daydreamy, surreal feel of what that experience might have meant to visitors. So this is for y'all. And
That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. I was the poster artist this year, so
and
it was just such an honor. It's
you
crazy.
said that was chosen as a blind art submission, right?
It was chosen as a blind art submission. So they asked for this call to artists. They collected all the submissions, and then it went through an anonymous judging process. So they pretty much judged drafts. They didn't want a finished product just yet. They were like, just submit the drafts. I submitted it. It went through a review of a panel, a committee, and no names attached, just purely images. And they went, I was elated to hear they went with mine.
Amazing. Congratulations.
So it's way cool. Thank you so much.
Now, I was told that your art pieces are huge.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting big. Like, now that I have my own space, they are getting bigger. Like, my installation piece that I did at ArtServe, Aging and Maturing, that probably would take up the corner of your back room back there. It hangs from the ceiling. I did over 60 different drawings of varying sizes. Some of them my size. I'm only 5 foot. So some of them are really big. Some of them are like on the smaller side to kind of balance things out. And some are just kind of floating somewhere in between. So it becomes quite the undertaking to transport like around and
now,
set it up.
Do you have the? Did we see the one that we were talking about, the big one that hangs from the ceiling?
It's not one big one. It's different pieces, like a puzzle that all go together.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's one piece made up of 60 different drawings, and those were just, I think, on the screen.
Those are the ones we just went through.
So you put those together?
Yeah, and I think it, like, in the ways that I was originally putting it all together, like, it's never the same. I played with the format a dozen times before I settled on the way that it was presented at ArtServe down in Fort Lauderdale. So
congratulations.
It was fun.
And the piece you have next to you?
This one, I figured I'd bring this one just because it is one of my favorite pieces, and I actually sold the original a couple months ago to one of my neighbors at Arts Warehouse, Bonnie. So this piece I had done, it was a companion piece to another painting that I also sold. But I just thought I'd bring it because everyone sees something different in it, and I've had so many wonderful conversations with people in my studio about what they see or what they experience in this piece. It's abstract, it's multi-layered. I like to, you can kind of see here, I really like to draw inside the paint. Something about that physicality is really like exciting to me, and like revealing these layers and layers of stuff. But yeah, I just thought I'd bring that in. This is a reproduction because it sold. So
it's amazing. Last night because we were here very late, they had us all do a personality test. So they all went through, and one of the questions was, when you see a piece of art, remember this question? Do you analyze it? Do you listen to other people's experiences, or do you just have your way, or do you not want to be bothered? It's like this whole sliding scale.
That. Yeah.
So as part of this whole personality test we all took, and you and Bailey are the same, and me and Haley and Josh Squared are the same. It made me think of that when you said that. So what are some of the things you have these conversations about?
It's so funny. Well, one time a visitor came to my studio during one of the art walks in Delray, and he was looking at it for like 10 minutes, and then he's like, you know what I see? I see this battle between good and evil, and like the dividing line between like life and death. And it was just this very like, you know, like life and death, good and evil type of a discussion. I've seen people see like, you know, flowers and floral, like a forest, and I've seen people seeing like body parts or like flesh because of, I think, this little moment here. So it's, I don't know, the more people like look at it, I'm just like amazed by the amount of different interpretations it takes on. It's wild.
I'm still hung up. Now, is that a duplicate of something bigger, or is that the painting?
This is a reproduction of the painting. The painting is probably a little bit bigger than the actual framed piece here, yeah.
And when you put these pieces together that you hang them, if people wanted to buy a print, do you have to buy the whole thing, or do they buy just
Yeah,
pieces?
truly I would sell it as one, but I wouldn't be opposed to taking pieces of it and selling it as like sections.
See, that's kind of different.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
That's very different.
It's just the experience, you know. It's like people are afraid to touch art to really like experience it, and for me, when I did those hanging drawings, I'm like, I want you to touch it. Like there are photos of me and some guests like really inside it, posing with it, and just like having a blast with it. You know, I think art should just be experienced. Like just feel it. You know, it's not gonna last forever. Nothing really does. So
awesome. Tell us where your studio is.
So my studio is at Arts Warehouse in Delray Beach. It's on Artist Alley and 3rd. We have actually our first Friday art walk is next Friday from 6 to 9. So definitely come and check us out. All the artists should be there, so you can talk, browse around, buy your next gift, ask some questions. I'll be there. You know, as always, I might be working on a painting. So if you want to come visit, again, Arts Warehouse in Delray Beach, 6 to 9 p.m. next Friday, August 5th.
And we'll pop up her Instagram again, and they're going to pop up your Instagram, so you'll have that. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this. This
I
has
want to
been
get
a
one
pleasure.
of those hangers. I like a hanger right up the tree. Because she can put it together. It actually molds and fits an area. Like we have an area to cover.
Absolutely. Sarah Wong, thank you so much.
No, thank you guys.
Baxton, nice job. We're going to go to commercial break. When we come back on this Friday, no better way to kick off our weekend than with Paul Solomon. We may need some of your specialty juices during commercial break.
Okay.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Amy Reshevsky can help you choose the right piece that will add some magic to you.
Born in Marseille, France, Max Lazega creates whimsical and free-flowing interpretive art. His 40 years in the construction industry created the foundation for his craft. His unique work displays his view of the future with bold and playful combinations of materials and processes, but the methodology remains consistent. He fuses recycled materials and discarded building supplies into a fresh, well-executed approach. Lazega has lived in Miami, Florida most of his life, where he pursues his lifelong passion of creating industrial art. For more information, contact Max Lazega at artworkstudios.org or 786-326-8873.
Meet Jay Harmon, one of the many artists held in the Brooklyn Cafe Gallery. Jay specializes in various different art styles, but his medium to work with is colored pencils. His unique style comes from being self-taught and years of practice. Jay pulls his inspiration from many outlets like people, television, celebrities, and many more. With multiple original pieces, Jay's art graces the gallery with over 40-plus works for viewing and for purchase. His many years of being an artist has given him a chance to partner with the Derwent brand, giving him the opportunity to try many different work styles and further his craft. Feel free to come down and visit the studio to view his work. Or if you're interested in your own J. Harmon original, he's open to commissions on his website, coloredpencilartist.com. Or catch his show, The Colored Pencil Artist, on Amp Media Productions on YouTube and Facebook. See you soon.
Hey travelers, everybody wants cheap airfares, but where can you find them? You call Smart Fares. Our prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low they're not published anywhere. Smart Fares specializes in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rentals, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, Smart Fares can help you get there cheaply and with the best price guarantee. If you want the absolute lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call us right now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these low rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the lowest rates available, so don't wait. Call Smart Fares right now for the best price guaranteed. Save up to 50% off business and first class. We've got great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 855-828-0198. That's 855-828-0198. 855-828-0198.
Artist Rosie Sherman paints her passions to share with everyone. Expressing herself through bold and vibrant colors, her suggestion and style are always in flux. Inspired by travels, nature, romance, and the human spirit, Rosie makes sure her depiction of women are strong and proud. Her landscapes illustrate the changing seasons in the diverse world that we live in. To find her artwork in the multiple medias you can purchase, visit rosiesherman.pixels.com.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un said he was prepared to use his country's nuclear arsenal in a military clash with the United States and threatened to annihilate South Korea, state media reported Thursday.
The warning came as North Koreans marked the 69th anniversary of the armistice that ended hostilities in the Korean War. This day is known as Victory Day in North Korea. Kim's warnings come amid fears his country is preparing to conduct a 7th nuclear test. Analysts see his latest rhetoric as an attempt to shore up morale in a country dealing with a COVID outbreak, a faltering economy, and the threat of renewed sanctions.
The Commerce Department said Thursday that U.S. economic output decreased by almost 1% between April and July, marking the second consecutive quarter of contraction, an indication that a recession might be coming.
This is the second consecutive quarter the GDP was negative. Historically, that does mean the country is in recession. But the White House disagrees, saying there are other areas of the economy that are still growing.
Once again, Russia has delivered less gas to Europe in a further escalation of an energy standoff between Moscow and the European Union.
Gazprom supplies as much as is needed and is possible. We know that now the technical possibilities for pumping gas have narrowed. Why? Because the maintenance process for various units is extremely difficult due to the restrictions and sanctions that Europe, namely the European Union, has introduced.
The United States has made a substantial offer to Russia to release U.S. citizens detained there, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said.
We put a substantial proposal on the table weeks ago to facilitate their release. Our governments have communicated repeatedly and directly on that proposal. And I'll use the conversation to follow up personally and, I hope, move us toward a resolution.
This is the latest news headlines. A hunk of Chinese space rocket junk weighing roughly 25 tons will fall back to Earth on Sunday, according to researchers at the Aerospace Corps Centers for Orbital Reentry and Debris Studies. The researchers say 20% to 40% of the mass will reach the ground. That would mean 5.5 to 9.9 tons would impact the Earth, according to Aerospace. A former staff member for ex-New York Governor Andrew Cuomo was killed after a Lyft driver allegedly ordered him and 5 friends out of a car on Delaware's coastal highway, state police said in a news release. 43-year-old Sydney Wolf and 5 others were ordered out of the car after a disagreement with the Lyft driver. The driver ended the ride in the middle of the southbound left lane of the Coastal Highway and demanded that all 6 passengers get out of the vehicle. At the same time, a 2016 Toyota Corolla was traveling southbound and fatally hit Wolf, police said in the press release. For only the 3rd time in the 20-year history of the Mega Millions, the jackpot has surpassed a massive $1 billion mark after the winning numbers were drawn on Tuesday and no winner was declared. The estimated jackpot for the Mega Millions drawing on Friday, July 29th, today, is now $1.025 billion. Even though Friday's prize is now estimated to be valued over $1 billion, it still falls short of the record jackpot, which was $1.5 billion and won in South Carolina on a single ticket on October 23rd, 2018. Facebook and Instagram's parent company, Meta, posted its first revenue decline in history Thursday, dragged by a drop in ad spending as the economy falters and as competition rival TikTok intensifies. The company's stock dropped slightly in after-hours trading following the results, suggesting Wall Street was largely expecting the weak earnings report. And that's the latest news headlines. I'm Alan Edwards.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Go back.
Pretty nice that we did that.
What?
Ready to get into some Luhu senior advising?
Yeah, it's the man, the myth, the legend.
I know.
The bricklayer.
I really thought, oh, he's going outside to soothe the souls, but apparently not.
No, I can only do so much.
He had to pile it on.
What are you going to do? But he's here now. So we haven't had Paul here in about a week.
Has it been a week?
I know, the weeks go like, I can't believe we're at the end of July already.
Yeah, August 1st. It's wow.
That's crazy. But it was nice to have you here last night.
It was a good time. It really was. Sorry Susan missed it, but good crowd. I mean, always when the crowd's good and music was good, it all comes together. Seating or no seating, it was all good.
Did you think that many people, when you walked in, were going to be present here?
No, not at all. Because I've seen it before where CC, and there wasn't as many people, but last night seemed special. It really did.
Well, last night we had JC, which she always has a crowd no matter where she
Right.
goes. And then we combined those two forces to see what would happen. I actually had a third force, but Mr. Frank showed up late.
Yeah, I would have loved to hear him sing.
This Thursday you can hear him. We're going to do it again. We're going to do a little different.
Did you tell him an earlier time so he shows up on
Yeah,
time? Or no?
I told him 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Let's see if he gets here by 7.
It's funny because he was here yesterday. We didn't know he was coming yesterday. We had 2 guests booked, and he came with one of the guests. So he walked in. We said, "It says, good afternoon, my friends. We had a good time last night. Sorry about the cookies. It's all good." Colleen makes me laugh. She says, "I try to listen to your show. When people say I watch your show, we said how when you're driving. I wasn't watching your show when I'm driving. I turn it on and I put it face down. They tell me when they're at work or they're in the car. So they're not watching, they're listening, which is really funny." So Colleen's like, "I listen while I'm at work. I just put it down. We got to get some cookies next time they come in."
Well, we'll straighten it all out. There was a lot of stuff going on.
But it was nice. Everyone was still
Cece's
here.
uncle died. We found out last night at the event. So there was a shift there for a second. But I tell you, he can sing, man.
It was great. And I want to get Josh up there with him also. Next time.
I'll let you.
Next
That
time.
was Josh.
We'll take care of that. But we got to talk to Paul because Paul seems to get connected. You are so easy to connect in networking because everyone either knows somebody who's a senior, is in the healthcare field, is somehow real estate. I just gave him Reba's card also because you never know when Paul's doing his sales through real estate with clients if you have a 1031 you need help with.
Yeah, and I've used her company before, not her before, to do a 1031 exchange. So it comes in handy. People really don't understand the 1031 exchange, but if you have an investment property and you want to step up, that's one way to do it, is do a 1031 exchange. So it's just, the planning portion of it is what I love. And that's, in something simple, that's no fun. And it seems, and if you ask my wife, it seems like every situation, every family situation that I try and help people, it's pretty dynamic. I mean, you got a lot of players, you got a lot of moving parts, and that's what I love about it. You just keep you on your toes.
Now that you mentioned that, Reba told me that they want to hold a seminar leading by 1031, but for everything. You know, that might be something of interest with Paul, because Paul knows all these different modes of stuff. We also have, and I've been wanting to mention this, the real estate.
Alma Gutierrez.
Alma. And Ziggy called her
Statewide
yesterday.
Realty. Oh, good. She's looking for agents.
She's looking for agents, and 100% commission. So there ain't no ifs or buts. You get the whole thing.
Because they have a flat fee transaction, and I don't know how the commission works, but it's a different situation, I guess.
Yep. So we want to see if we bring Alma in so she can explain that as well. But they want to do more outreach with 1031s and things of that nature. And you have your finger on the pulse in so many different people and situations and things of that nature. It could be a guy we should talk to.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of commercial business also, besides developing business. I mean, we were building a log home community before the crash of 2008, 2009 outside of Asheville, building prefab log homes. I've kind of done it all in real estate. So, but my passion turned because of my parents into helping seniors. So, like usually the phone call comes, the adult children are kind of befuddled on what to do. They really are in a bad place, and it usually comes down to running out of money. So real estate is usually an asset that they have, and that's kind of where it starts. Is there anything we can do with the real estate? Do we need to sell it? I could help them with that. Do we need to possibly bring in a reverse mortgage person and pull out the money to help the loved one stay home? We can do that too. Then that leads into the rest of the planning, whether it's VA, Medicaid planning, or moving somebody into an assisted living or nursing home.
Now, I'm seeing more people age in place, but I can't tell you, and personally, that's the best thing, because I think a lot of people become isolated while they're aging in place, because it's you and your spouse and an aide, or multiple aides. There's no socialization whatsoever. There's no integration in mealtime. You don't see other people because you're very comfortable at home.
Why would you do that?
For me, well, with my special ed background, we would always put the special needs kids in a regular classroom because that would elevate them to a higher level, right? And then everyone showed compassion. When I think you have seniors, when anybody is isolated, it becomes isolating, socially, emotionally, and you see a decline because you and your spouse are typically the same age, right? So this one's at the doctor this day, and the next day that one. I think there's a lot to be said about assisted living, independent living. Even if you're independent living, when you leave your apartment, you go to the dining room, there's going to be people there. You're going to say, you know what, I maybe got to get out of my house gown because I'm going to go to the dining room. I may not like all 100 people, but maybe I'll like 2. Are you finding, and just what I'm noticing around town, I think COVID kept everyone so self-isolated that there's been a huge decline.
I mean, aging in place, it's because it's easy for a lot of the seniors. They're comfortable at home.
Sure.
They fight their adult children. I want to stay here as long as possible. And I agree. I mean, that's, again, and that was old school, right? We talk about that. You know, the generational people take care of the grandparents, and everybody just stays home, and it's a lot easier. But there was an independent livings back in the day.
Right.
And independent livings are affordable, depending upon where someone lives. If they live in a gated community, have an HOA with real estate taxes and insurance, it might be as affordable to live in an independent living. Start there. You have the freedom that you want if you need it, or you can bring in an aide too. And that's what a lot of people that I have is they sell their homes just because it's become a burden, the homes itself. Taking care of it, move into an independent living, and then I could bring an aide in through Medicaid to help pay for the aide. And it's like them being at home. So the aide comes to the facility, spends time with them all day, part of the day. They have their meals prepped with everybody else. And then they have the entertainment that's also included. So independent living is a great vehicle for a lot of seniors if they understand it.
If they understand, and they're not so busy fighting, I want to stay home, I'm comfortable in my home. Of course you're comfortable in your home. but I've seen such a decline in people personally, emotionally, and depression and weight loss because there's like nothing that they're looking forward to because of the pandemic. You're going to go out for dinner with your spouse. Okay, I could eat home. They aren't going out to see people. They're not going to theater. They're not going to movies. But in these places, all you have to do is go down the hallway and there's a movie, or they bring in entertainment. There's things to do. Like your mother would have loved it.
My father, no.
But your mother, right, would have gone and dance. She would have had a great time.
It's true. And you know, it's funny because a lot of people that I know are looking to do more and more things on the outside. I guess they're afraid to hit that stage. But I was going to ask Paul, I guess getting together with you and putting some kind of plan in place, even if it's 5 or 10 years down the line, it's important that you do it early. Because what happens is something happens and all of a sudden you can't get around as much. You know, a lot of people in Florida, for some reason, fall.
People fall everywhere.
No, I mean in Florida. I seen you fall. People fall. But when you're fragile and you fall, things break. So when things break, all these plans that you had aren't happening. You can't, you know, it's really difficult to get around. Look, I got this from JoJo, listening about her boots, how she broke, stepping down like this, she broke her ankle or whatever she broke.
She had a major break, yeah.
Major break, and she's been in a boot and she's going nuts, and you know, she's young. So when you're old and these catastrophes happen, shouldn't you have in place an A plan, a B plan, things happen? It makes your life a little bit easier understanding that if these bad things do happen, you're ready to go.
Yes, I agree 100% with you, but it's fighting the fight with the seniors, okay? Because my generation, our generation that's kind of looking out for the parents, we're busy. So we still either have kids in high school or kids going to college. So that's what we're filled with working and dealing with our kids. And our parents, if they're self-sustaining themselves, we kind of look away. And like with myself, if I try and bring up the subject with my parents, they push it away. They don't want to talk about death. They don't want to talk about when things happen in the future. They're not going to get old. I mean, my mom at 93, I saw the other day, she's like, look at all these old people. I said, no, you're one of them. You know, I mean, it happens all the time.
Don't say that.
Huh?
Don't say that.
No, but I joke with her. I mean, but she's as gray-haired, blue-haired, whatever color you want to call it, with the rest of them.
She's 93. That's amazing.
She has blue hair?
Yeah, well, a lot of seniors at
My
that
mother
age.
has purple hair, so, you know.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of
the gray
growing
turns
fake
blue.
hair.
You know, it's just the coloring aspect of it. They can't see.
But imagine if your mom were home, whether with you or in her own apartment with an aide, how isolating that would be for her, even if she doesn't know, right? Because people with dementia, they may be like, all right, I can be here. They may not know the day-to-day. But when you go out to a meal and you see people, I think somewhere in your mind you bring up something of your past of, oh, it's dinner time, I have to communicate. There's just social cues that make, I think, a huge difference in people's lives.
I've told this story. I try to keep my parents in their house and bring an aide in. And my mom said, I don't want anybody in the house with us. And that, again, was the beginning of the end because she was sheltering my dad.
Yeah.
My dad, with his dementia, she was embarrassed for them to go out to dinner. My dad couldn't drive anymore, even though he wanted to drive. They would go out to dinner, and my dad wouldn't have any conversation. So as time was going on, they were spending more time at home. With that being said, my mom was never a great cook, but she was cooking less, and everything was frozen, and everything was from Costco. And so the whole nutrition aspect of it was getting worse. And I knew that. You know, my dad loved chocolates and plenty of cookies, chips, and everything else going on, and that's kind of what they were living off of. So the whole nutrition aspect of it, it just blows that out of the water because there was none anymore. And even though I would want to get meals delivered and things like that, there was always a complaint, and then there was always a question about money, which there wasn't. But as seniors get older, they start worrying about money, whether they understand it or not, and what they have. So there's a whole group of issues that come up that some people, and again, baby boomers, they just don't want to deal with their parents. I mean, I see that more than anything else where, yes, it's a great idea to have plan A, plan B, and plan C, but these forces that are against that between the parents, between the adult children that don't want to be bothered, and then there's the crisis. And that's most of my clients are crisis mode. Something happens, they fall, And that just becomes the beginning of the end, was kind of how I describe it, because once they fall, here they go. Hospital visit, and then the whole medications, and then everything just starts going downhill, some quicker than others. My dad fell I don't know how many times, and I thought this was it. My mom in the last 6 months has fallen 2 or 3 times, and I thought that was it, and then she bounces back. So you just don't know. But yes, to have plan A and plan B, if you can get that into the family situation, that's what I tell people. Let me come in. I'm a third party. Let me talk to mom or dad, and maybe they'll listen to me a little bit. And we could start the planning aspect of it, because they won't listen to the kids.
But at least they're starting the conversation.
Right.
I think it's great. My father, when he was alive, complained about food. And then I went to visit him, and I saw his refrigerator.
Right.
And I threw everything out,
Right.
because nothing there should have been eaten. But my father is like one of these hunters in the wild, and he'll eat whatever.
Right.
So I brought in an aide, and I said to her, listen, she asked me for X amount of money. So I gave her the money. Then I said, and here's the extra money. She says, what's that for? Because he's going to be a big pain in the tuchus. It's just going to be a pain.
Right.
He's going to say it's no good. I don't want it. She don't know how to cook. So she used to FaceTime me, and he's eating her food and saying, she don't know how to cook, Freddie. This is horrible. Meanwhile, he looked like he was ready to eat the. He gained weight.
Right.
He looked like he was ready to eat the bowl. So I said to him, listen, can you make a bigger bowl? Can you give him more? She said, give him more. I says, yeah, trust me. And that worked. Pork chops. He was eating like a king. But he would fight with her tooth and nail. I don't want this woman here. I don't want her here. Because he had problems with the bathroom and all that. So he was embarrassed.
Right. Embarrassed is a big key. My dad was embarrassed. My mom was embarrassed for my dad. It's my mom's, as she was becoming incontinent, she was embarrassed, and it became hard for me even, because how can I take her out and her have an accident? So either I had to bring an aide with me, or not bring her out and bring the food in. So
you see, but with him, I didn't want to do that. So I said to him, give me your car keys, because he couldn't drive anymore. That's a big one. And they had, people had told me, well, if he gives you the car keys, Freddie, you've won the battle.
Right.
He finally gave it to me. I mean, the truck was mangled. He dragged it into a tree. So I took him to a supermarket, and I put him on one of those little carts. You know what I'm talking about? That you can get around?
Yeah.
So he says, no, I don't want to do that. I said, Dad, I'm going to ride on the back. I want you to drive me around. And he looked at me and says, really? I says, yeah. He says, aren't you embarrassed? Embarrassed of what?
Right.
I'm not walking. I'm going to have fun with this, right? So he's learning. By the third day when he had it, he started doing it by himself. I mean, don't get me wrong. The first 3 days,
He took the end cap off.
No, I had to put
Clean up on aisle 4.
Yeah, I had to do that. I had to pick up the cereal.
Cost a lot of money.
Oh my God, he ran over a lady, and I said, "It's okay, you're good. Can I buy you lunch?" I mean, I had to go through all these changes.
Right.
But then he became, this is pretty good. Then because he can manipulate something, he couldn't drive anymore, but he can manipulate this movable object. The only thing is, I told him, you can't drive into the parking lot, Dad. You can't just leave out the, no, you go out. My father would have gone home.
That's why bringing Paul in, you don't have to worry. It's like when you do somebody else's taxes, or you do there's no personal attachment to it.
Right.
You know, if I sit down and talk to my mom and dad, my mom will say one thing, my dad will be like your dad. But Paul can come in and say, would you think of it this way? Oh, okay. And if they yell at Paul, there's no emotional attachment. There's no parent-child interaction. It's totally a third-party issue. It's done.
Paul.
I think
The key is to get them to think they came up with the idea.
That's right. I was just going to say.
See? So you got to kind of twist it and then kind of get it out of them, and they say, you know what would be a good idea? This. And we're like, wow, don't fight it. Say, yeah, that's a great idea. Hello?
Women do this all the time. Women make us think it was our idea.
Like Freddie's buying dinner?
Like Freddie's buying dinner. I
Freddie
must
said?
have like a twin brother that says all these things.
Freddie said?
But if you can, she's going to say no, he's going to say yes, and you make it sound like yes is no is his idea, he's all in. You
But I
just
also
gotta be
have to
there.
ask Paul, right now we joke about food prices are exponential, gas prices crazy. Seniors are on a fixed budget. Plus they have to pay their rent or their mortgage, whatever it is. Are you finding more and more that there's food insufficiencies when you go into a home and they don't know what to do, but this reverse mortgage situation or selling and moving could actually be beneficial?
It could be tremendous because, again, if the adult children, baby boomers, who have the power of attorney, who really have a little bit of a say on what's going on, if they really sat down with their parents when they come down, whether this season they come down to visit and they see what's going on in the house and say, okay, let's either make a budget, let's see what's going on. It's unbelievable how many baby boomers are helping their parents financially. So I see that a lot. And again, their biggest asset is their house. But everybody's scared to talk about the house because mom and dad want to die there. And I said, okay, but maybe there's a better solution to it. How about if we sell the house? Oh, but where are they going to go? So then I say, well, either they can rent. Oh, they'll never want to rent. Yeah, but look at the benefits of renting. And then I say, or let's sell it. Let's go buy something else that's smaller. Why do they need a 4-bedroom house? Why don't we get them a 2-bedroom house? Oh, but what are they going to do with their stuff? Well, why do they need the stuff that they haven't touched in 32 years? Let's kind of start scaling it down, or let's look into independent living. You know, let's just take them through there. So there's all these other options that a lot of people just don't know about because most of the time, again, passed down from one generation to the next is, let's talk about a nursing home.
Yeah.
And that's like the be-all. And I'm like, no, there's a lot of steps before that. Why do we need to go there? How about let's do this, either bring somebody into the house, independent living, possibly assisted living. Here's now the money, let's hold the money. And oh, don't forget, there's possible government benefits that we can throw on top. So the food issue is a big issue. I mean, nutrition is a huge issue, and that usually helps speed up the decline of people,
Yes.
whether it's dementia, Parkinson's, or anything else, because they're just not getting the nutrients.
Right. I don't want to eat.
That's
It's
true.
not what I want. If you go to an assisted or independent living, you go to the dining hall, they give you a menu like anything else.
Right.
And it's all included in what your monthly cost is.
I had a question on the reverse mortgage. If you go into a deal on a reverse mortgage on the set numbers, right? Because you're only going to get a portion of the value of the house. So instead of dying in the house, you're actually going to live in the house.
Right.
But what if that value of the house grows like a mushroom? Is there an adjustment you can make on an adjust mortgage on a living benefit, or is it adjusted on a death benefit, or is it not adjusted at all?
I mean, you could always refinance, so that's a possibility.
On a reverse mortgage?
Sure, you could pay it off.
Wow. Okay.
And or bring another one in because now the value is so much higher.
Right.
So let's get another, especially in the last 2 years.
You could do that.
Sure. You could pay it off. There's no
Do
prepayment
you know,
penalty.
Paul, that everybody I talk to about reverse mortgages is afraid because if they lock into today and the value of the house goes this way, they think they're locked in. But you can actually do a second one.
Not
they
just
pay
a
off.
second, you can redo it. Like, so do another one.
So you
if
get
it-
rid
if
of
it
the
makes
first
sense.
one.
Correct. But you got to be in it, they say on an average of 4 to 5 years for the break-even point. So you really have to
Yeah,
be
but
in
the
it for
market is so crazy.
Closing
right
costs.
now.
Well, right now things are, with the interest rates just going
Well,
up
I
again, are
wouldn't-
kind of crazy.
I wouldn't see that happening now, but if you looked at it a year or 2 years ago and you got into this thing, and this is what I'm talking
Right.
about. If they had talked to you 2 years ago and that option was there, and they will make more money in today's because 2 or 3 years ago it wasn't as crazy as it is right now.
But like my in-laws, who I've been talking about doing a reverse mortgage for them over the last couple of years, we kind of had to wait for the appreciation of their house because they had a mortgage that we needed to pay off and they wanted to pull money out of it. So for them, we waited it out over the last 2 years, and then by the time we were ready to go,
And
it was
they did it?
perfect. It was
And they did-
perfect. They were
and
able
they
to pull
did
money
it?
out, paid off the mortgage. Now they have no mortgage, and that's an extra about $2,000 in their pocket every month to spend on whatever else they need. No mortgage.
That's a lot of money.
And that
Yeah.
makes a big difference for food and gas, all the things you were just
Yeah.
mentioning.
Yeah, so
but
it's
this
huge.
is what I love about this. If you get in the game now, you have a shot at tomorrow. People just don't understand. They think that God will provide. I love that one. Or don't worry about it. What do you mean don't worry about it? My dad left me with a mess.
Here, Rose said, God will provide, but it doesn't mean you can sit home and it's going to fall through your ceiling.
And
You have to make those
and
steps.
And here's really the difference. I work with an elder law attorney. I have my own business, Luhu Advisors. So I'm coming in and talking about all these different things that we keep talking about every week. You don't have to go to a lawyer first to then talk to me. Talk to me first.
You first.
Then I'll bring in the attorney if legal documents are needed for it. I'll bring in the reverse mortgage after you understand enough about it. Well, they'll finish the conversation. I'll bring in a geriatric care manager for the long distance families so that they understand, here, you can have eyes and ears here locally. You'll pay for it. But how about having somebody here that either goes to the doctor with your mom or dad, or they're coming out of the hospital, you can't be here, and having somebody help them. So that's the first conversation.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I set up my company after all these years of working strictly under the umbrella of an attorney, because there's so much more to it than what the attorney's going to tell you. I can tell you that after working with them for the last 15 years, that they don't know everything. They're good at the law.
Right.
They're good at making what they need to make document-wise, but they're going to say, go talk to the financial advisor, go talk to the CPA, and I kind of bring that all together.
See, it's different because an attorney is the salt in the soup, and you don't just eat soup. I'd rather talk to Paul first, have the attorney as part of the equation, the accountant, all these 1031, whatever you're doing, and then have a plan. If you go in thinking that your attorney or your accountant, which is what everybody does, everybody says, my attorney said, my accountant said, and the last one is the doctor now, all of a sudden. I must be getting old. Because all of a sudden everybody's talking about what the doctor said. That you got to talk to somebody who will talk about all of them.
You're just hanging out with the wrong people.
No, it's not that. It's, you know, it's funny. Every day I get older, I like Paul more. I'm serious.
I grow on you, that's fine.
No, I talk to my kids, right? My sons. I don't want to burden them. I don't want to burden Freddie and Gio. And they call in. Now they're calling to check up on me. And I look at the phone and says, well, you checking up on me? He says, well, you know, Dad, you're getting a little older. I said, oh, really? I'm getting a little older and you're checking up on me.
But there's so much to it. There's the psychology of it.
That's the psychology?
There's they get depressed. They get anxious over money. They
don't get that.
They get embarrassed because...
Who?
The seniors.
Seniors, the dignity issue, you know, and all of these things. And there's so many aspects that to bring in Paul and not one of your children to say, all right, let's look at this. Let's look, here's your depression, anxiety, food, money insecurities, all of these things. And you know, it's that mountain out of a molehill. That one phone call would alleviate so much stress and anxiety for people. Just to say, you know what, there's hope, there's options. Just got to call them.
Paul, let's switch it. Let's have the seniors call you, introduce you to their sons. Let's switch it. Let's try this. You know how you wait for the son and daughter to call you so they can talk about mom and dad, and mom and dad is going to say, you know what, get this guy out of my house. I ain't got no time for this, because you're bringing up good points. But I talk to you, Mr. Mom and Dad. You should call him and introduce him to your kids. Now think about the logic here. You get your kids involved because it's your idea. That's number one. You're in control. That's number two. And number three, if nothing needs to be done, it doesn't get done. But you decide that. Don't let your kids decide. I'm serious. I think reversing this is a good idea because mom and dad are the ones that are going to have the ultimate say. How many deals have you done with people or you do with the kids and they say, yeah, mom and dad tell you no?
Right.
Because they want to be in control.
Yeah.
True that.
Well, maybe we reverse.
All right, let's take a commercial break. More to come. We got Paul Solomon, Luhu Advisors with us. Give him a call. 954. They took my number down. What's your phone number, Paul?
954-540-6609.
And Sarah's still hanging out with us, so let's see how we're going to get this
measure.
Friday off to it. We've got
Sarah,
this piece too. Maybe
measure.
she can incorporate this into a piece for us. From Stacy.
Oh, happy.
Yeah. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Do you need a strong cup of coffee to get you through your day? Try your very own Brooklyn Cafe Show coffee, the official coffee of the Brooklyn Cafe Show. You can pick up a bag from us, or two. Contact us at 866-224-5422, or just stop on by. We're at 2400 Northwest Boca Raton Boulevard, Suite 13. Come on in, grab a bag of our signature Brooklyn Cafe coffee. The cafe doors are always open. Welcome to AMP2 TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in.
When you're looking for a full-service internet radio, TV production company, discover AMP2 TV. AMP2 TV is a full-service media company that can provide all streaming videos, video studios, radio studios, and television studios. Call us today at 866-224-5422. For no business is too small to grow to be accounted. It's time for your message to be seen. Let AMP2 TV help get you there.
Welcome to Lost Harbor Spirits, a world where pirates inspire our spirits, treasures remain undiscovered, and flavors are infused with the essence of mysterious voyages. The distillery became one of the few women-owned craft spirits production sites in the U.S. From our award-winning spirits of vodka and rum to delicious gin, we're always coming up with some new and exciting flavors to keep your cocktails delicious and fresh. Contact Palm Beach Distillery at lostharborspirits.com to take a tour or purchase your favorite spirit at your local liquor store.
Imagine this is your money and someone wants to take it from you. Who is it? The IRS. Guess what? They want your money and they can take it, all of it if they want. Remember, they sent you that letter right over here that said, hey, you owe us a bunch of cash and we're going to take it from you right now. So what do? You fight back by letting our team of experts work it out with the IRS so you can keep your money. And hey, we're good at what we do. When you hire us, you get a team of guys on your side that know the IRS laws, and we'll fight really hard to save your money. So if you owe the IRS a ton of cash and you want to keep it, call right now and learn for free how we can help you put it back in your pocket. 5 minutes of your time right now can save you thousands of dollars. And the best part, it's a free call, so please call right now.
Call 800-651-4808.
Has your heater busted, computer crashed, appliance broken? Then you need ARW Home.
Life's been pretty worry-free since I got covered with ARW Home. Don't waste thousands of dollars on air conditioning, appliance repair, and replacements. Save that money with ARW Home. Protection plans that cover household appliances, systems, and electronics.
My air conditioning broke on a Sunday. I called ARW, and they came out and fixed it right away.
Get your free quote today. Call or go to arwhome.com now.
Call 877-281-0289.
Stephanie Jaffe is a world-renowned artist who creates one-of-a-kind pieces. Using a keen sense of color and composition, her vibrant collages and mosaics integrate eclectic elements such as vintage keepsakes and fine china with blown glass and fired clay to create whimsical arrangements. For more information about her work, come down to the Brooklyn Cafe TV studio or go to StephanieJaffeArt.com.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
True that.
We're back.
Happy Friday, everyone. You ready to wrap up this segment?
Stuff fell on the floor.
What did?
Potato chip.
Potato chip, popcorn? I don't know. It's all good. That's what vacuums are for. We'll clean it up. We're talking to Paul Solomon of Luhu Advisors. Let us help you. And Paul just makes it easy. I'm telling you, if you could just get Paul into your parents' home or have your parents call Paul and bring you into their home, as Freddie said, it's a great idea. There's so many things to do. And COVID has changed so many things. My perspective, and I've watched my parents age, has totally changed. I watch them go to doctors every single day. Mm-hmm. And if they're not at doctors, they're at another doctor's, or they're doing something medically. And what that does to your psyche, it's so hard. And then it's not like you have something to look forward to going out with your friends. They don't do that either anymore. It becomes depressing, and you're sitting with this spouse.
Why they don't want to go with their friends?
Why? Because they just spent the day at the doctor and now they're tired. There's a whole psychological component to this, and I'm sure Paul can attest to. You do it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I have to schedule my appointments around their doctor's appointments.
Right.
And it could be a week or two out. And that's how far out they're booked. I mean, it's an incredible thing, and it's a trip for them. It's like a day trip.
It's a day.
Right. You know, so whether they then have lunch either before, breakfast before or after, it's 4 or 5 hours out of their day is this one doctor's appointment.
Right.
But that's what they like to do. They like to go
Not
see
that
the
they like
doctor.
it.
It's not that
becomes
they
a way
like
of
it.
life.
That's the activity of the day.
Yeah, because the doctor says you're looking good, you're gonna live another day. I mean, that's something positive.
Or not.
No, they're not gonna say that.
But the financial part of it is hard. The psychological part of
I
it
can
is
hardly
hard.
wait till you get older and you gotta go visit every doctor. I want to see how you're gonna act. Are you gonna go?
Probably not.
That's what
I'm
happens
not
when
going.
you're young.
No way.
You're not going either?
No.
Nobody goes at your age. Nobody goes.
I
When
have
you
my
get older.
wife. She diagnosed everything, so she knows, and then she opens up the cabinet, of which that's like the first thing that when we move, that's the cabinet that comes first. Front seatbelt on it to make sure that's being traveled.
It's the Jewish
correctly.
wife cabinet.
Right.
Take a little bit of this and a little bit of that. You'll even
Right.
say to me, "Do you have this? Do you have that?"
Because I know you have it.
Exactly.
Now, me, I invite Dr. here now to have dinner at my house. Says, Doc, come and see me and bring your stethoscope. I have the medical stuff, the blood drawing and all. Hey, here you go, Doc. What do you see? What do you got going? What you got? Oh, Freddie, you got to go to the hospital. No.
Yeah, I remember that.
We ain't doing that.
Would you do a reverse mortgage on your? Well, you're not old
I
enough.
would.
63.
62.
62.
I would, but I could prepare because I watch the market. That's why I asked you that question. Because if I'm 62, where I'm living in, I know it has the potential. Like where I live now, I made the call on this house. It went from 3 to 2.4. That was my call. Nobody believed me. Nobody saw this coming. It's beginning to cool off again, but I called it. So I was right. If I had done well, not me, if she had done a reverse mortgage when I asked it to, easy street. No worries.
Right.
None. Zippo. But I didn't know you 10 years ago.
It makes a big difference that when you wake up in the morning and know you don't have to worry about money. You may not be loaded, but you don't have to worry about
Paying your bills.
can you afford the electric?
Right.
Can you afford your groceries? Can you afford the gas to get to the doctors? Just the simple things. Just to know that stress, when people don't worry about money, it takes a huge burden off and somehow you become lighter. And it doesn't mean you're millions or you're winning the lotto, but just the day-to-day. Like your in-laws to have $2,000 extra a month,
Yeah.
that's
a whole lot.
tremendous.
Yeah. I mean, they love me now. I mean, they,
Now,
They love you
no,
before.
they love me
30 years
before.
later, they love them.
Right, but they love me even more now because of this. And again, I have to tell you, I was talking about it for the last couple of years, and it's not like they didn't believe me or trust me, but it was until somebody else said
Told
to
them?
them, why don't you look into this?
I'm
And they're
for-
like, oh, maybe that's what Paul was talking about.
I'm
kind of
for
thing.
hire. You
Right.
and me, we should do a routine.
You Yeah. should.
I'll send you and you'll be that person. You send me and I'll be that person.
Right.
He said the same thing. Really? The guy's brilliant.
Yeah.
And I think we'll close every deal.
And it's got to be great for you and Susan for your relationship because she's not getting the phone call from her parents, and then she's getting stressed out, and then she's dealing, and then you got this whole you're married and your wife's stressed out, and she's stressed out because her parents are stressed out, and it's this whole cascade of things that happen.
But again, two different scenarios where my parents had money that they blew through, unfortunately, to a certain point, and my in-laws more cautious with their money, and everything's kind of in place for them where I even say to them, listen, we can get Medicaid. And even though I could talk to them about Medicaid and Medicaid and Medicaid and Medicaid, they still, I mean, they're in their mid-80s. They have that stigma that Medicaid's a bad thing. That means you're poor in the streets and now you're going to qualify for Medicaid. And I could tell them the same conversation over and over again. They still don't get it. So I understand, because then I can understand that when I go talk to families and they don't understand it, I know where they're coming from. My parents, they didn't understand it until I had to finally do it. So my in-laws are all doing the right. They have long-term care insurance, but I know that's not going to cover everything. They're going to want to stay in their house until the last moment that they can stay in their house. And I tell Susan, okay, but we have Plan B because I know what Plan B is going to be. They might not like Plan B, but at that point we might not have a choice because they might have run out of their money if they live to 90 years old. So that comes up all the time with families. This morning, a financial advisor called me. I'm not sure because the way she was kind of talking was third party, but the referral said it was this person's family. So I don't know if it's an in-law, daughter-in-law, whatever it might be, and she's an insurance agent, and this person has annuities, and they're talking. Now, I understand that because I'm licensed to sell that, and she's asking me questions on what to do, but she got to a certain point where she's like, you know what, I think I really need to bring you in because I don't know how to if I should turn on the annuity or not, or if I should change the ownership of the annuity, or can I do that? And is that going to mess up the other planning? Because I know that they need Medicaid. I know that that's their insurance policy for the nursing home, that they're probably headed. So they said, all right, let's set up a meeting, and I'm going to let you kind of run the whole meeting, and you'll tell me what I need to do. I respect that person, obviously, because they know they need help. But a lot of financial advisors said, oh, no, we'll just turn on more income. Well, once they do that, and depending upon how they turn it on, I might not be able to help. It might be too late. And whether or not that money lasts the rest of their lives, we don't know. How long are they going to live? We don't know. But if it's not done correctly, I mean, when I step in, I can have their money last to the rest of their lives. Hopefully it's enough. Usually when I come in, they've already spent down. There's not that much left. And they said, oh, I wish I called you a couple years ago. Well, unfortunately, you didn't.
That's the deal.
And then whatever advice you got could have been right at that time. But now they didn't really understand Medicaid to say, okay, here's our last insurance policy that we'll ever need to take care of everybody. Because Medicare is not going to do that. And that's a big misunderstanding for anybody under 65. They don't understand Medicare because they're not there yet. And then all the seniors that have hit Medicare 10, 15, 20 years ago, they don't understand what it's covering or not covering because all it's been covering is their doctor's visits and or a hospital. And that's great. But now they need more care. Where are they going to get that money from?
And if there's an investment portfolio, would that have to potentially switch to a child for income, so they're not seeing the income?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the income is okay. It's the asset that's the problem.
That's what, okay.
Yeah, so it all depends where the money's sitting, whether it's in a financial portfolio or is it sitting in an insurance product like an annuity. It all depends. And that's kind of what it comes into now. I would love to get to families that are 5 years away, 6 years away, 7 years away before something happens, but that's not my typical client. My typical client is crisis.
Tomorrow.
This is going on. They're going into that nursing home today, or they're in the hospital. Now we don't know what to do. But fortunately in Florida, we can still do a lot of things with Medicaid, again, with this 5-year look back that every state has. But in Florida, we can maneuver the rules that are there and be able to qualify somebody in 30 and 60 days for Medicaid that you can't do in any other state. So the crisis mode works here, but not in all the other states. So when somebody says to me, we'd love to do planning, if it's more than 5 years, great, love to do that. That's 1 in every 10 clients for me. Most of my clients are crisis. We need to do something now and get Medicaid as soon as we can get Medicaid. And that's okay because that's the process. That's what I deal with mostly.
You know, when my parents were 60, we thought we had it all figured out. They went on to live 26 and 28 years more. And when the 88 and 86 came around, the plan that we did 28 years ago was obsolete, didn't work. So my mother said to me, Freddie, when you see that I have to make adjustments for dinner, that I gotta be creative, we have a problem. So you know how I'm always talking about Vienna sausage and eggs and white beans or white rice and that was the go-to signal from her that they were having a hard time. I mean, you got to understand, my father was really tough to live with because he always thought, my father made a lot of money. So when his money started to dwindle, he could not make that adjustment. He wanted to go get gas for his brand new truck. He couldn't get it because there wasn't. So she used to tell him, we can't go there, we got to do something else today. That wasn't true. So there was this signal that she had about altering eggs with rice and beans. Now, you guys laugh, but I grew up on this formula because things change and food becomes an issue. God, if they were alive today, I would probably have to fly them over here to try to take care of them.
Yeah, food becomes an issue.
Food is a daily issue.
And right now, the price of food is a huge issue in the nutrition and what's going on. I don't know how people on fixed incomes are actually doing this.
Yeah,
I mean, you'll go to college, you're going to see Chelsea's grocery bill is over $100 a month, and it's just Chelsea, $100 a week, and it's just Chelsea.
It's there.
That's a lot of money.
It's there.
right? $100 a week for a single person
That
at
and
least.
gas. I mean, that
And
and
add
gas,
gas to it,
because
right.
you need a car. And you're in Florida, you need a
60
car.
to 80 bucks in gas.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you don't go anywhere. Or you have your friend take you. Would you like to drive me? I meet people at Publix now. I walk around with a sign. Give me your number and drive me to Publix when you're coming. Hey, you got to do what you got to do. What are you going to do? You would never do that. You would never, ever do that. Right?
What, ask someone to drive me?
Seniors. I go to seniors. Like, they make fun of me because I go from 4 to 6 to dinners. Because I don't want to eat late. I don't want to eat after 6 because I can't digest it. As a diabetic, I can't. So I go 4 to 6. So she calls it, what do you call it? Come on.
Lunch?
No. She says it's the early bird special.
That's what it is.
Then you take out the old AARP, that red card,
Yeah.
you get 15% more off. So I got a $20 meal turns into 15, and AARP makes it down to 12. I'm going to the movies.
You're getting a deal and you're healthy. See? So
That's what I'm
the good
talking
part.
about.
That's what it is. But you got to call Paul. What's the best way to get in touch with you?
My number is 954-540-6609. Or go to my website. There's plenty of things on my website that between this show and other shows that I've done to talk about long-term care insurance and all the things that I do. And that's luhuadvisors.com.
Are things changing with long-term care insurance now?
They are changing. It's been changing where as opposed to you thinking of it as an expense, use it or lose it, now it becomes an investment. And by putting money away, as you're putting away, whether it's 401, your IRA, if you put it into an insurance policy, it can increase just like your IRA 401k built on the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and it can grow so you can have cash value and take it out even better than your 401k where you can take it out cash tax-free. So there's a lot of great products in the insurance world that can cover whether it's a death benefit, whether it's long-term care insurance, or having that investment grow and being able to take it out tax-free. So you need to speak to your insurance agent. I love to talk about it. It's part of my plan when I talk to the baby boomers and seniors. Hey, let's put some money here and forget about it, watch it grow, and or get it out tax-free.
So your products are different than the traditional long-term care products.
Correct. I mean, if there are people that want to make that payment because their income is really good and they want to buy it kind of the old-fashioned way, there are still some companies, not too many, that still sell long-term care that way, but there's so many other ways to buy it better that, and again, your financial advisor, talk to them about it. If they're insurance licensed, they can move some of their investment money into these type of products. If not, then somebody like myself can talk to you about it. And that's just kind of the whole package that I talk to people about.
It's a different program. You
Yeah.
can actually invest money and use it while you're living.
Correct. Living benefits, people don't understand. It's not just a death benefit with life insurance. There's living benefits, and that's why they created this to help support the long-term care aspect.
It
What
makes
makes
a
it
big
too
difference.
easy?
Well, no, I think people just don't. I see who that is. I think people don't realize the benefits of a living benefit, that you can afford different things, and we just have to get the information out.
Correct.
All right, why don't we wrap this up?
Yep.
All right. Give out your phone number again.
954-540-6609. Give me a call, hour conversation. Let's see if you need me, or I can direct you where you need to go.
I'd like to get Paul on the radio one night soon to do a whole life insurance. You do a 30-minute thing that you do and go through
You know what I like
you
to
can
do?
do
What I
differently
do.
than that.
I wanted you to bring your parents.
It's a whole nother thing. Means I got to get him out of
I'll
the
go
house.
get them.
I'll pick them up. I do that.
That's just paperwork on the table. I'm telling you, I think it'll be great because I know he's going to give him a hard push and she's going to yes him to death, and I'd like to see how that whole thing happens.
All right, we'll pick a night. I'll see if I can get him there.
All right, good enough.
All right, thank you. But I think it's really important thing to know that there are living benefits that you can afford, that you can use while you're alive, and you don't have to just pay, and you may use it or you may not. Because that's right now.
More people
don't
need
have,
to know that.
People don't have that indispensable income that you can just throw it away anymore.
Correct.
All right, more to come. Ready to wrap this up, Paul? Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you guys, too. It's always great to be here on a Friday to end the week and to start the weekend.
And you were here with us last night, so we appreciate your support. As always, maybe next week you'll bring Susan.
Absolutely.
We've got music coming next week, a lot of music on Wednesday. We've got mariachis on Wednesday. I think we've got J.D. Danner. Thursday, we've got Frank Barbado. We'll see who else we got lined up for next week.
We got us some friends.
Have a great weekend, everyone. Stay safe. Be kind to each other. And we'll see you Monday, 9 a.m. drive time.
And don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.